As a video editor, knowing how to make your voice stand out from the background music is paramount. So that's why when I saw this video by Olufemii on the Adobe Video Motion channel, I was thoroughly disappointed in how they showed and explained, or rather didn't properly explain, how to use the de-esser plugin in Premiere Pro. And to be quite frank, that's not the way to go about it because it's pretty limiting. So in this video, I'm going to give you 4 different ways that you can actually make your voice stand out from the background music. So let's jump into Premiere Pro. Okay, so this is what we're working with. I have 2 audio tracks. The first one is the voiceover and the second one is the music. I'm actually going to play them so you can hear them raw. I'm going to solo the voiceover and just play it. And first things first, we need to set the correct audio levels. So just watch this space right here to see where the voiceover actually sits. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. And the only reason I'm still standing is because... So the voiceover currently sits somewhere between -13 and -17 decibels, which isn't bad. But for me personally, I like to set my voiceover somewhere between -12 and -15, and the music all the way down to -20. So in order for me to do that, I'm just gonna select the voiceover track, use the essential sound panel, and click on dialogue. And here in loudness, just click auto match. You see that the analyzed loudness for the track as is somewhere -25 LUFS. But once I click auto match, it's now been matched to -23. So if I play this back, watch the volume again. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. And the only reason I'm still standing is because I stopped working like a machine. So now it kind of sits somewhere between -10 and -15, 16, but the bulk of it sat at -12. So this is exactly where I want my voiceover to sit. Now let's do the same thing for the music. Unsolo this, solo the music. I am not going to play the music as is because I know for a fact that it clips and I want to save your ears. So I'm just going to go in the essential sound panel again, click on music this time. And you see it's analyzed at -10 LUFS, which is really loud. Click auto match, and now it went all the way down to -25. And if I were to play just the music itself, look at the levels. -14, -16, which is okay, but like I said, I want it somewhere around -20. You will never hear the voiceover and an audio track like music at the exact same level, okay? So I'm gonna unsolo this and just do a, here we go, -5 decibels. And let's just hear both the voiceover and the audio track, the music, at the same time. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. And the only reason I'm still standing is because I stopped working like a machine. Okay, so you can hear the voiceover. You can make out what the voiceover is saying, but it's not 100%. It's not really that clear. So what they suggested, the first effect, is the de-esser. So I'm gonna go in my effects rack here under music, choose amplitude and compression, and choose the de-esser. Double click to open it, and this is the de-esser window. Now, what they said in the video is to choose frequencies between 2000 and 6000 Hertz. I'm gonna tell you from the get-go, this isn't ideal. They're missing out on some very important frequencies, but let's just try it as is. Now, I'm gonna play it, and if the de-esser is actually doing anything, you'll see some red lines appearing here under gain reduction. So let's just play it. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. See, nothing happens, and that's because the threshold is set too high. So I need to lower this to -40 decibels, let's say. And now try again. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. And the only reason I'm still standing is because I stopped working like a machine. And now the de-esser is actually doing something, and it's reducing the music, well, these particular frequencies between 2 and 6K from the music by around 3 decibels. Let's just listen to it again and see if you can actually tell if it made the difference. So this is without the effect. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer. And this is with the effect. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. It does something, but not a lot. And that's because we're not targeting the right frequencies, as I've mentioned. If I were to just take this and put it to 1K, now listen to the difference. I've worked as a video editor, motion designer, and a videographer for years, and the only reason I'm still standing, now isn't that better? You can actually understand what I'm saying, and it's a lot more clear because our voices mainly sit, like the bulk of it, mainly sits between 1K and 2.5K. That's where most of our voice sits. So that's the frequencies that we need to carve out of the music and make room for. So the de-esser actually works, but with the right settings. And this is a quick and dirty way of getting things done. Another way is, I'm just going to turn the de-esser off and add, where you go, special vocal enhancer. Double click to open it, and this is all we get. And we actually have a preset called music. I'm going to select that one. And let's just listen to the audio again without any effects, like a palette cleanser. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. Okay, and now with the effect. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. And the only reason I'm still... See, it works. You use the vocal enhancer, even though it's called vocal enhancer, to carve out some music. But the problem with this is you don't get a lot of options. You don't have things to tweak at all. It's just one setting. And if you were paying attention, you would have noticed that the song actually lowered on all of its spectrum. So the entire song was lowered, and you can actually see it here. So let's do it again. Without the effect. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a video. -19, -20. With the effect. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. -21, -23. So it lowered everything by a couple of decibels. Again, quick and dirty way, it works. If you just want to throw this on and be done with it, you can definitely do that. But you have other better options. And the first one would be, again, if we go under special, mastering. Double click, and this is what we have. And in here, we have a preset called Make Room for Vocals. Just select that, and I'll explain in a bit exactly what's happening, but let's just hear it as is. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years, and the only reason I'm still standing... Yes, you can hear the voice way, way better, but I'll play it again. Listen to what happened to the song, because it changed the song as well in terms of the higher frequencies, and they're way louder. Just have a listen to the snares. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years, and see, the snares are louder. So let me just explain what the mastering plugin actually does. This is the bulk of it right here, and I'm going to go through these settings as well. So what we're doing, we have peaking enabled at 1844 Hertz. We're reducing it by 6 decibels with a Q, or a width, of 0.3. So what this means is that this valley, this dip you see right here, this is what we're carving out of the song. And we're targeting 1844 Hertz. And we're lowering it by 6 decibels. 1800 is okay, but I would like to target 1500, which is the middle between 1 and 2K, because that's what I found that works best. So I'm going to change this to 1500. And in terms of what we're reducing it by, -6 is okay, but I would rather go -9 decibels. And we'll just keep the Q as is for the moment and have a listen again. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. And the only reason I'm still... Now, isn't that better? Do you not hear everything that I'm saying as clear as, well, possible? I would think so. It's definitely better than the de-esser and the vocal enhancer, that's for sure. But we're also doing something else to the song. And this is this setting right here, the exciter, the widener, and the loudness maximizer. So let's just take them one by one. The exciter, this targets those higher frequencies, those snares that I was talking about. So let's hear it again. I've worked as a video editor, a motion... Now take the exciter down all the way to 0 and listen for the snares again. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and you see they're not that pronounced. So the exciter targets the higher frequencies in the song and boosts them by how many percent you actually put here. The loudness maximizer has everything to do with volume. The higher this is, the higher the volume. So we don't actually want to increase the volume of the song. So I'm just going to put this to 0 too. Let's have a listen again. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. Good, that's way better. And the widener is, think about it as studio reverb, just to make the sound feel like it's a part of the room. You can keep that as is at 100% if you want, or just put it down to 0. And have a listen again. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. And the only reason, yep, way better. Let's turn it off. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. And the only reason I'm still standing, you see how much of a difference that made by selecting the right frequency to target and the right decibel amount. Now, having a width or a Q of 0.3 is okay, but if you notice the curve here, we're targeting all the way up to, what's that, 12, 13K, and all the way down to 150 Hertz, which is a bit too much. So I can increase this Q, let's say 1, and there we go. Now we're just targeting the bulk of our voice that sits between 1 and 2K. And we're not targeting frequencies that don't actually have anything to do with the voice or that don't have that big of an impact on how the voice actually sounds through the music. So let's play it again. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. And the only reason see, we get more of the song without actually losing the clarity of the voice. This is how you use the mastering plugin. But there's even a better way that gives you even slightly more control. And that would be the parametric equalizer. And this is the one that I actually recommend you guys use. Why? Because first off, you get a visual representation of all of the frequencies within the song, and you get a lot more control over the frequencies that you can target. So this is the song without any effects applied to it. As a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer. And now let's start doing the exact same thing that we did with the mastering. I'm going to turn off all of these bands, just keep one, target 1500, again, reduce it by 9 decibels. And this time the Q isn't the same as in mastering. So if I just set it to 1 to what we had, it's okay. But again, it's a bit too much. We're targeting all the way to 7, 8K. I think we can do it with 2 and have it a bit more targeted. So let's listen to it again. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. Yep, that sounds good. And it might actually sound the same as the mastering, but here's where this plugin, the parametric equalizer, is better. So in order for me to show you this, I'm actually going to go all the way to minus 15 decibels to actually hear what the effect is doing. So I'm going to go again, and I'm just going to start moving around the frequency. Okay, and just listen to the way the song actually sounds like. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. And the only reason I'm still standing is because I stopped working like a machine. So today I'm breaking down the simple shifts. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and you hear that? Depending on what frequencies you take out of the song, it will sound different, and the voiceover will sound different as well. Because let's say, for example, I'm right here and I'm taking out mainly the 4K part. The mid to high frequencies in my voice will come through, but the low frequencies will get muddled with the low frequencies of the song. That's not exactly what you want. You want a balanced voiceover. You want some of the lows, but you also want some of the highs. So that's why targeting 1500 or thereabouts is ideal. Now, this works best for my voice. Yours might feel different. So it's important for you to have this control and start filling around lower or higher with the frequency to see what sounds best for your specific voice. So let's do it again. I'll put it back to 1500 and minus 9 decibels and have a listen. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years. And the only reason I'm still standing is because I stopped working like a machine. And you see here the levels, my voice was at -12, music was at -20, and that's exactly where I want them to. So in my opinion, this is the best way to go about carving out frequencies to make your voice stand out from the music and make it pop. But there's one more thing that you can do, and that's actually to add an effect on the voiceover track. So if I go here, amplitude and compression, and add a multiband compressor, double click it and select the broadcast preset and make slight modifications. So for the limiter, I'm just going to set it to -3, and they actually showed this in the Olufemii video, and they are right to do so. And also set my gain to -3-ish, because the effect itself will boost the volume of the sound. Now let's listen to it again to see how it sounds, but also have a look at the volume as well. This hasn't changed. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years, and the only reason I'm still standing is because I stopped. Actually, it changed a little bit, so I can just go and set my gain to -5 to keep it at -12 dB. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years, and the only reason I'm still standing is because I stopped working like a machine. You see how much better that sounds, how much clearer? I can, without the effect, without the multiband compressor. I've worked as a video editor, a motion designer, and a videographer for years, and the only reason I'm still standing is because I stopped working like a machine. So today I'm breaking down the simple shifts I've worked as a video. Again, this is a quick way to make your voice pop, not just stand out from the background, but actually pop and make it more pleasant and clearer. Now, obviously, there are a lot of other things that I could do to the voiceover track itself, but if you want me to go through them or what I do to make my voice sound the best, let me know in the comments and I'll make a dedicated video. And with that, see you in the next one.